Hello dear viewers and welcome back to our channel. Some royal stories glitter, others hit you right in the chest. Today's does both. Behind the smiles and the wave-perfect poise, there is a woman rebuilding her strength in real time, a husband caught between duty and fear, and a family quietly rearranging the furniture of the monarchy while the world argues over what they see on a screen. If you care about the human story beneath the crown, don't blink. Catherine's return to centre court should have been the warm, uncomplicated moment everyone wanted. The cheers were thunder, the cameras gentle, the dress a whisper of summer. But the second the world saw her, the tone shifted. Concern cut through the applause. Fans who've adored her resilience suddenly found themselves murmuring the question no one wants to ask out loud: is she pushing too hard, too soon? Online, the mood flipped from celebration to worry in a heartbeat. Those close to the princess say she's determined, laser-focused, unwilling to let illness define the shape of her days. Determination can be a miracle. It can also be a weight. Inside the palace, the mood is steadier but no less intense. Courtiers speak of a household running on precision and prayer, of schedules drawn in pencil, of quiet contingency plans for everything from school runs to state dinners. The king is choosing his engagements carefully, pacing himself with the discipline of a man who knows every ounce of energy is borrowed. That creates a gap. And whenever a gap opens, it's the Waleses who step into it. It isn't a headline, it's a fact of life. William and Catherine are the hinge on which the institution swings right now. That's flattering until it becomes frightening. What people didn't see at Wimbledon, they felt. The slimmer frame, the fragile outline under the summer fabric, the way the crowd's roar seemed to cradle rather than carry. Friends say the princess has days when the light pours in and days when she disappears into her routine and just moves carefully through the hours. Recovery is not a straight line. Chemo is not a chapter you simply close and shelve. You learn to walk with it. You learn to look like yourself again while your body is still renegotiating the rent it pays to your spirit. Those who love her most know this, and one of them was sitting inches from the grass, clapping, bracing, hoping. William watched the cameras as much as he watched the match. There are stories you don't need confirmed, you can read them on a husband's face. Around them, the chessboard keeps shifting. The king's team has been quietly thinning the diary, choosing symbolism over stamina, impact over volume. In that space, the heir and his wife have been handed more rope and more responsibility. From community projects that look small on paper but huge in people's lives, to the quiet machinery of royal warrants coming back online with their names attached, the message is unmistakable. The future is being written in their handwriting, in their tempo, in their choices. That's an honor. It's also a pressure cooker. And pressure has a way of blowing through even the most carefully guarded inner circles. The departure of Natasha Archer, Catherine's long-serving aide and low-key style whisperer, landed like a thud. No drama, no statements, just absence, and absence matters in a world built on trust and routine. She knew the rhythms, the recovery days, the tiny adjustments that make public life survivable when your private life is stitching itself back together. When a pillar like that moves, you feel the wobble. The team adapts. Catherine adapts. But no one pretends it's nothing. Of course, the critics are not sleeping. They never do. The old part-time royal jibe has crept back into the discourse from people who were always going to measure love of country by the length of a diary rather than the weight of a week. They point at William hopping from stadium to summit, from the Euros to Earthshot, and ask why the bread-and-butter grind sometimes falls to or Edward. The answer is both simple and brutal. The monarchy is triage right now. Everybody does what only they can do. For William, that means being visible where the audience is largest and the future is loudest. For Catherine, that means choosing the moments that matter and making them land while her body plays catch-up. For the rest, you call in the cavalry, Princess and with her iron stamina, Edward with his steady hand, and you keep the whole thing moving forward. None of that quiet choreography stops the rumor mill. It never has. Whisperers fret about appetite, about weight, about the merciless algebra of treatment and recovery. You'll see words like relapse thrown around by people who couldn't be less qualified to use them. Here's what we can say without crossing lines: illness is a long negotiation between medicine and will, and Catherine has both on her side. She does not need strangers diagnosing her through telephoto lenses. She needs space to heal and the grace to go slow when slow is smart. The rest is noise. What cuts through the noise is William's resolve. Those close to him describe a man who has learned the hardest royal lesson of all. You cannot be everywhere, fix everything, absorb every blow. You pick lanes. You protect your core. You defend your family's peace like it's a state secret, because it is. He will take the booze and the praise and the 10,000 hot takes, and then he will go home and choose quiet over clout every time. That's not avoidance. That's strategy. In a world that treats the royal family like a season that never ends, someone has to decide when the episode is over. And yet, watch the edges and you'll notice the tenderness that refuses to be scheduled. The way he slows his stride to match hers. The way his hand finds her back at precisely the moment the noise spikes. The way the camera catches him watching the crowd watch her, as if he could hold their gaze still with his own. Sources say there was a private moment afterward, away from the roar, and it broke him a little. Not from fear, not from anger, just from the sheer relief of having crossed another finish line together. Sometimes a wave to the box is a victory lap. Sometimes it's a prayer answered. So where does that leave us, and where does it leave them? In a season of recalibration. The king is husbanding his strength and still somehow making the balcony feel full. The heir and his wife are learning to be both shield and spear. The princess is choosing appearances like puzzle pieces, saving her energy for the pictures that tell the right story at the right time. The machine spins. The family breathes. The country watches. Here's what to watch next if you want to read the tea leaves without pretending you're a doctor. Look for depth over density in Catherine's upcoming calendar, a single, well-crafted engagement that advances her early years' work or her nature-anchored recovery narrative will tell you more than a week of ribbon cuttings. Look for William to keep straddling two worlds, football terraces and policy rooms, because that's where he believes the next generation actually lives. And listen for the tone from the palace, fewer dramatic proclamations, more quiet adjustments. That's not secrecy. It's care. Most of all, remember that even queens in waiting are mortal women moving through impossible seasons. If Catherine looks fragile, it's because healing looks that way sometimes. If William looks fierce, it's because love has teeth when it has to protect something precious. If the institution looks calmer than the chatter around it, it's because institutions survive by being better at waiting than the rest of us. Tell me what you felt when you saw her step into that sunlit bowl of noise. Did you cheer? Did you flinch? Did you hold your breath the way we did? Do you think the Waleses are getting the balance right between duty and recovery, between visibility and peace? Drop your thoughts below, keep it kind, and if you're rooting for strength that grows quietly day by day, hit like so this reaches more people who need the reminder. Subscribe and stay with us, we're following this story the way it deserves to be followed, with empathy, with curiosity, and with both eyes open for the moment when courage looks like rest and the whole world finally understands why.